Action does fold around to Negreanu, and he looks down at pocket aces.
Pocket aces usually clear the nasal passages.
Daniel in the small blind with a min raise. Action on young Jin Lee in the big blind. Jack 7 of clubs. And he calls.
I really don't understand the min raise of 100. When Daniel's feeling better, I'll ask him to explain it to me.
A flop and trip sevens for Lee to take the lead. Daniel first to act.
Daniel, of course, the ace is up. Dangerous waters for him.
225. And now the 23-year-old South Korean student. Flat calls. 8 of hearts on the turn. Sevens full
check
now for Lee. Check, check.
Lee constructing a big trap for Daniel.
A tray on the river. Check mark for Lee.
800.
Check from Daniel. 800 from Lee.
A pot-sized bet, and Daniel is exasperated.
So weird. I had such a big hand. You have no idea. Biggest hand you can get.
Negreanu telling Lee, you're trying to crack aces.
And now you're betting 800.
This is where Helmuth stands up and rants. Daniel handles it differently.
This sucks. Setting them all up. I had the big hand and bleh.
Well, Norman Daniel seems to know right where he stands here, though.
All right, I'll let you bluff me.
Daniel folds. It's not a bluff. Lee shows.
That was good. Oh, well. So much for that hand.
You got Google open?
I think the next hand's gonna start. We'll get to it.
Eric Seidel with aces under the gun +1. He's raised to 32,000. From the hijack, Talal Shakurchi will call with king-queen.
In general, it's okay to call with this in late-ish position, unless you're up against aces, you dingus.
Goethe folds. Daniel Negreanu with Jack 8 suited on the button.
Daniel's getting okay pot odds, and he's in position. He might call even faster if he knew Seidel had aces.
Both blinds are folded.
Play the rush. TJ taught me this trick. Back in the old days.
Back in the old days, before all this crazy technology like Discmans and VCRs.
Top set for Seidel. And he checks it.
Seidel getting pretty tricky here, gives up the lead. Shakurchi shouldn't bite.
Okay.
And Negreanu checks behind.
I think Eric's check there is going to cost him.
Whoa, a jack on the turn. Negreanu with 2 pair. This could get expensive for Daniel.
Daniel's got 2 pair and he's drawing deader than zombie Walt Disney.
Seidel checks again. Shakurchi with a gut shot bets 60,000.
Somehow Shakurchi's live despite having the worst hand.
Daniel calls with his 2 pair. And Seidel sticks in a raise, makes it 225,000 total. Shakurchi quickly folds.
Seidel's raise looks super strong, and even though Daniel has 2 pair, from his perspective, he's beating absolutely no value raises.
I don't know. Maybe I should go with TJ. Fill up and lose.
He lets it go.
Yeah.
Great laydown from Daniel Negreanu. Seidel wins a decent-sized pot.
Back to Daniel Negreanu with the featured table. He's got a pair of sevens against Matt Trout, who's got an up-and-down straight draw after the flop. Turn card is a 10. Trout hits his straight. Daniel can only hope for a chop.
Lon, what Daniel does is pretty simple. He says you get into someone's head, understand how they approach the game, and then you play their tendencies. It's just hard to master.
Trout, a 28-year-old mortgage consultant from Wisconsin, checks it over to Negreanu. Daniel bets 4,000. Daniel with a pair of sevens. Trout check raises all in.
I had you on the flop, then you got me on the turn.
It's right again.
I had you, but then that card changed the leader, I'm pretty sure, right?
Couldn't we use Daniel to track down Bin Laden?
You had like some kind of 9 in your hand, right? Like a King 9 or
King 9?
9 whatever. Take it.
Daniel folds.
You're a sick human. King 9?
King 9.
I did it again! Yes!
Even when you lose, they cheer for you.
I had you till then.
No 6 for Bonyardi, but a 9 high flop could get Daniel in trouble here.
Daniel looked a big speculative pre-flop, and now he's picked up top pair. He might get in trouble.
Shlomi continues. He's made it 15.25. It's a pot-sized bet.
No slow playing for Shlomi. 5x pre-flop, pot on the flop. Daniel's still not convinced. He wants to call.
But should he call?
Daniel has a tough time folding pairs, and this is top pair. He should probably fold, but I don't see it happening.
He does make the call.
A big pot is brewing.
No real threat out there to Shlomi's kings.
Shlomi can't be too concerned about this turn card.
21-25.
This time he decides to make it a little bit cheaper for Negreanu. He went full pot on the flop, right around half pot on the turn.
Surely this is where Daniel lets it go.
Daniel is trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. And he makes the call. He's not entirely convinced yet. Again, this river really doesn't change much. The only hand this helps is 6-7 or 8-9. And Shlomi only fires out a third pot on this river. He gives Negreanu a fair price to make this call. He's getting 4-1 on his money.
Well, let's see if Daniel can get away from this.
Daniel is determined Angel Small River Bet is a value hand that Kid Poker can't beat. Although it's hard for him to rep a hand, he's bumping it up.
Here you got aces or kings. Can I say that, or is that illegal? Heads up. I can say what he has, but not what I have. Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking aces or kings.
You think right.
Daniel really pulled the trigger correctly on that one.
And Shlomi's now thinking, if you've read me for aces or kings, surely you can beat aces or kings. I have to fold.
If I show one, do I have to show all? No. Okay. I can show one? I can show one if I want to? I don't feel like it. Never mind. I don't have a good one to show.
Great start for Daniel. Almost a double float there, and then a bluff on the river, which got the job done.
Negreanu wasted no time pulling out the tricks from his playbook.
Aces or kings was good, right?
Of course. I'm just saying, that's what I thought he had, but not that I could beat it.
And Negreanu with Queen 10 offsuit.
I know how badly Daniel wants to win the main event, but I still think he does too many other things. He plays golf, he's got his own blog, he's doing Wii bowling. He's scattered.
He does raise it to 3,000. Over to Ryan McLean with pocket aces. He's another Canadian player. He's from Edmonton.
Maybe this is the Canadians' year to win the main event.
A re-raise to 9,000 from the small blind from McLean. So that action back to Daniel now from Toronto. He lives here in Vegas.
I don't really want to, but I kind of have to.
Well, you didn't have to, Daniel. But he did. He calls.
6,000 more. These two Canadians to the flop. It is 5-4 queen, and that's dangerous. Daniel paired his top card.
You see, Daniel hits top pair, and he's hopelessly behind. That's why he didn't have to.
You know what I think he's got? Aces.
That is uncanny.
I think he's got 2 aces.
What do you do if you're McLean now?
Well, I'm not even sure McLean has aces, and we can see his cards.
McLean, a little more than half the pot. That's 12,000 with his aces.
Well, if Daniel is so sure he has aces, why did he reach for chips?
Ace!
Yeah, he made the call.
Give him an ace over there.
Turn card is a deuce. No help to Daniel. McLean checks this time.
You know, I think Daniel's talk has frozen McLean. Daniel talked his way into a free card.
There's a 5 on the river, and that earns McLean the check mark.
Why would you check aces on the turn? That was such a strange play. You had a straight draw and everything.
If I'm McLean and he's got the best hand, I just want to crawl into a hole. It's like Daniel is flashing a spotlight in your face.
McLean checks it. Daniel checks it out. There you go.
Aces.
I told you I knew what he had. I had a queen.
Wow.
Spooky, man. I was like...
Well, Daniel might have lost the pot, but the respect he won by calling the ace.